Hey friends, fellow crafters and gamers, DM Scotty here, and the book has arrived, the Book of Quests. So Brandish and I have been working on this since after the other book came out, the original EZD6 book came out. We wanted to keep it a nice, concise format, and so we didn't add quests to the book because we wanted to do a whole book of quests itself. Okay, and here is the book. I'm so excited. Look at that. Look at that cover. Another Sean Bova cover there. Book of Quests. And on the back, yours truly, Runehammer, and then these great creepy looking elves that are actually homunculi that are disguised elves. So they're very cool. And let me show you the hardback. So look at this. Look at this sucker. Look how great that is. I love this format because it's really easy to tote around and carry around. So, but there's over 150 pages of quests in this book, and there's a lot of content. So on the back here, we got the creepy elves there and the Runehammer. But I love the graphic nature of this, and we'll talk about this little guy on the cover here in a minute. So, what is this book? Okay, what is it? All right, um, it. I'll tell you, it's not a world book. Okay, there are a lot of world books where you buy the book. It's got a lot of background and that kind of thing, and then it just kind of leaves you cold with what you do with it, right? It plops it in your lap and says, "Here, you figure it out. You do what you want to do with this stuff. Here you go." But I didn't want to have that. I wanted to have a book that was like how my players and I play the game. And how that is I don't necessarily come up with a world before, like a world map and it all laid out and all this history and everything before we start playing. What I do is I start small. We start in a village, and then we just work our way out. And I call it flowchart geography, and we just go out from where every quest builds the world more and more. And so I get a lot of nice player input as well as my own input into building the world. Okay, so and the geography comes from us making the world together, which is really fun and interesting. Now, this book has an implied world in it, okay? It has my weird, wacky, kind of goofy, creepy, funny, kind of world in it, which I call Graxel. But this book could easily be teleported or transported into your own world. You can just take these 18 quests, plop them in your own world, and there you go. Or you could play this whole book. There's enough quests in here that you could play a whole campaign of quests. And not there's an implied world, but there's also a story embedded in the quests. So you could change that up to fit with your own big bad or whatever you have going on, or you could actually build up to the climax of this book, which the final quest is facing this dude, which is called the Fallen. Okay, so it's like a an alien entity in a meteorite that comes to Graxel, and that doesn't happen until not quite halfway through the book. Like the Brazen, which I call the adventurers, they kind of go through adventures, get their adventure sea legs, so to speak, and then they run into the big bad, and it starts. There's more clues and more things about that through the book. But there are also in the earlier quests, there are also clues to this happening. So you can take those how you will. You can make them fit your own big bad or your own story, or you can just play a story right out of this book and have a whole campaign ready to go, a whole campaign's worth of games ready to go. I love that. So let's talk about this book for a sec. Okay, so to your left here, I have the Making of Legends, which there's different kind of tiers of quests, and they're not since there's no levels to EZD6. It's not necessarily that they're harder. There's some harder quests in the earlier quests, like the Ghost Keep of Carlsberg is a very difficult quest, right? And it could be very dangerous for your players. But it's kind of like the stakes are bigger as you kind of go down the list. Some of them are more difficult, right? Uh, mechanically, but the stakes are also bigger in the game, and there's some pretty cool things going on there. So, uh, so let me talk about this for a second. So you could either roll for the quests, or you could play them in order, or you could just pick one, or you could combine a couple quests if you want. This book is really about how is for you. It's a resource for you to be able to pick this up and run games quickly, right? Because most of the quests are only 3 or 4 pages long. There are some that are longer, but they're an easy read, right? It's an easy read, an easy absorb. I wanted it to be to that you could just sit down and read it really quickly, like 15 minutes before your players show up, and you're ready to go, right? I love that. I love that aspect about this book. So that's that. That's the kind of uh, the quests. All the quests are listed out there. These are the last 6 quests in the Making of Legends. Now here's some Sean Bova art, and this is a quest called Giant Problems. I just wanted to show you this great picture. This is evocative of the art that's in the book. There's amazing art that Sean Bova did for us in the book, and you can see here this really dynamic scene. And this giant is kind of a misunderstood giant, right there. So you got to kind of find that out throughout the quest. But that's what's going on there. And then we have these great little maps too in the book. So here's the town of Hochberg, and this is actually the quest where you discover the Fallen. So there's the crater there in the woods, and we have this great little map art throughout the book to help you kind of visualize quickly what's going on, right? And we have our little boxes here. Roderick, my buddy, always making his fun little jibes and jokes, and then me, giving advice like how I ran it, or some ideas or that kind of thing. I like doing that to give you guys some clues of what was going on in my noggin when I was running these quests. All right, so this guy is a quest. It's the Grindy Luck, and the Grindy Luck is this deceptive villain. Okay, not deceptive in the fact that he will deceive you, but deceptive in the fact that he seems easy. He only has one strike, right? But this guy is really, really hard to kill. Okay, um, so it's funny. Your players will think, "Oh, there's just this goblin, whatever. We'll dispatch him. We'll get rid of him really quickly." But he has this supremely lucky power where it's just super hard to kill him. Spells reflect back on the caster. You can only hurt him if he rolls a 1 when you hit him. Otherwise, you hit yourself. You hurt yourself. So it's just like he's like crazy. He's this fun kind of deceptive boss that your players won't be ready for. They won't. They'll be like, oh, they heard about this lucky goblin or whatever that's worshipped, but they won't realize until they get in combat with him how like nasty this guy is, right? So fun stuff like this throughout the book. Also, here's a full page piece of art from a quest called Down on the Doom Docks, which is like this doomed love affair. Um, and there's like jealousy, and there's a guy who's mutated, and um, the love affair got tangled up in like this ritual summoning that he was trying to do, and so it's all these interesting elements going on that the players have to figure out. And I really love this piece of artwork here, really evocative of the final creature that you face, right? And at the end, when you finally face the fallen, okay, the meteorite kind of cracks open and the creature comes out. And the creature is run by AI. It's run by different couple pages of AI. One is like when it's first comes out of the meteorite, and the other one is when it's like essentially like bloodied, when it's halfway killed. It goes into like super crazy mode, right? So, and the higher you roll on the d20, the worse it is. Is what effect happens to you. So, if your players can survive this fight, they are like either supremely lucky or genius players, because this this has been one of the hardest fights that I guarantee that the players will have ever faced. Sorry, I cackle a bit at my players when I do evil things to them. Hashtag evil DM. But anyways, or evil RR. But anyways, that's some idea in the book. So you got 18 quests, new magic items, all kinds of stuff. Another thing is, I don't think I showed you, or maybe I didn't have it loaded. Um, each quest comes with a D20 chart like this one of little things you can discover throughout the adventure. So that way you could roll randomly if you want to see what the players find when they go snooping around, or if you want certain things to happen from that list, you can pick them out. And so whenever you play this quest, it can be different because the D20 table of the specific things that you can find in the quest will change every time. So I love that. I love that little aspect about it. Because you can buy generators for adventures, right? But they're just kind of generic. These generators, there's one for each adventure. So the generator generates things that are pertinent to that specific adventure. And I love this little thing that Brandish and I came up with that. So that's another little cool thing. But yeah, I think you're going to love this content. It's so the thing I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be really easy to bring to the table. Like 15 minutes before your group, you could just read the quest and be ready to go. Everything's on there, the stats, everything. I got new monsters in there for you guys. I've got new magic items, and just fun, 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 fun. I mean, it's just I've run all these quests myself. I've done them all myself, and we had a blast. Some of them were for my campaign, some of them were for one-offs, and this kind of thing. So, but I've run all these. They've all been tried, they've all been tested, they've all been run, and I just really love I just really love what we've got in there for you. And Brandish, brought his designer's eye to this thing and has just, done a wonderful job laying this out and, making it easy and concise for everyone who wants to run. And I hope that if you're a new RR, this is really going to help you see how I would run a quest. These quests are how I would do it, and so I think it's a great like kind of training wheels. But don't think of them as easy or training wheels or anything. I think it's just easy because the quests are so concise and well laid out. It's not just reams and reams and reams of paragraphs and pages and all this information for one room. It's laid out in a way that you're going to absorb this information quickly and be ready to run. So I think it's a boon for any RR. And so I wanted to give you guys a look at the Book of Quests. I hope you enjoy it, and keep your eye out for the next book because we're getting ready to start the next one. So the third book in the EZD6 series, and I'm excited to bring that one to you too. But in the meantime, enjoy the Book of Quests. You guys take care.